you have evolved, kind of the way the open source and Linux had evolved. Because back in those, early Ubuntu days, a lot of people did not even know. I mean, they did know, but they did not know why they should use open source. And I started my journalism career in 2005, and my first job was with Linux for You magazine. So out of the degree. So back in those days, the whole point was to tell why you should use open source. Nowadays, everybody's using open source, but I think they still don't understand. A lot of people don't understand how open source works. Internally, they have developers who don't share with other developers. They push out there. So, from your perspective, how do you see the evolution of the whole, adoption of open source?
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because the first systems administration job I had, I remember we did this. I guess it was like a workshop for customers, and the talks were so funny because this was like 2004, 2005, and they were like, "What is open source? How do I choose between the options?" And it seems like these things have been adopted so thoroughly into today's industry that people don't ask those questions anymore. But at the same time, you get into companies, and there's a lot who think they're open source companies. They have an open source product, but they do a lot of the work behind the scenes. They're hiring a lot of developers who really just aren't familiar with open source technology. So I think there's still a lot of education to be had there. So one of the things I'm doing, so I'm now a developer advocate over at Mesosphere, and one of the things I'm working on is developing an internal training just for everyone in the company really about open source. Because when the company is small and it's a startup, and these people are passionate about Mesos and passionate about technologies. But as the company grows, you end up bringing in a lot of people who aren't necessarily open source developers, don't really know a lot about it. So that continuing education for the developers who are new to it, or are familiar with it enough to be dangerous. That's something I actually care a lot about, and I want to make sure that everyone's getting the right message and that we're being clear with what open source is and what we're striving for.